This is a rite of passage. Okay, you found yourself in the perverted side quest. Now let's see how good you are at alchemizing, at transmuting. Let's see how strong you can get your power of discernment up to see wrong for wrong and to see right for right. But here's where I postulate, interject. Found a YouTuber, she goes by The Alchemist, dropping some bombs, dropping some heat, putting stuff into a well-packaged perspective that's easily digestible and moving and entertaining. Anywho, I'll put a link to her channel up on. You guys check her out. There's some things that were mentioned that we're all familiar with, and I had one question I wanted to posit to her. This is why I made this response video. Hopefully she'll see it. One thing I wanted to interject, it was on the matrices, rising above, etc., etc. So let me give some background first on this sort of false light that she describes as the dimension that we're currently existing in is a false light dimension that has been fragmented from the all. Sort of, you have your main quest to beat the bad guy, and then there's a fragmented whole other alternate reality within that main quest, and everyone who's in that alternate reality thinks that is the main quest, when in actuality it's a perverted side quest that has its own rules, its own fragmented figures, fragmented light, and it keeps the souls trapped in there so that they can just keep recycling that energy. That's in a nutshell, the conversation that we're having. Demiurge, archons, false prophets, all of it sort of goes hand in hand in keeping souls in this side quest, this perverted side quest that everyone thinks is the main quest. Sorry if I'm using video game terms. Hopefully you gamers will follow with me. This is the easiest way I can put it. So in its highest form, it can be said to... This is a rite of passage. Okay, you found yourself in the perverted side quest. Now let's see how good you are at alchemizing, at transmuting. Let's see how strong you can get your power of discernment up to see wrong for wrong and to see right for right. But here's where I postulate, interject into the alchemists. I need to look up her name, and hopefully we can have a dialogue back and forth with this, or even with you guys in the comment. We have this natural law that says, as above, so below. Right? You can't escape law, but you can rise above it in frequency. You'll always have polarity. You'll always have ego. You'll always have these things in every dimension, but a different quality. One closer to truth. One not so bastardized and perverted. So my question is, if this realm around us is a false light matrix, we have to transcend the matrix and this idea of illusion, what's to say that once we get out of it, we're not in another one? And what's to say that we don't do this all the way until source? And what's to say that we can even get back to source of our own accord? For example, again, it is said, through the lens of alchemy and hermeticism at least, who's to say that we can even get back to source? Because we are sort of a thought form. We are Hamlet to Shakespeare. We are Gandalf to Tolkien, right? Gandalf is never going to, no matter how much consciousness we write into the character of Gandalf, Gandalf is never going to spring out, I don't think, will spring out of the book and be like, I am I am Tolkien. Like, even if he did escape the pages of the book into our reality, he's still Gandalf, still created by Tolkien. This is a extremely profane example of the all and you, but it's still an example nonetheless. It's just a varying degree. So the question is to the alchemist, how do you know that the false light, that the perverted light, where we're trapped in our halls of Amenti, where we're trapped in our labyrinths, where our souls are recycled over and over again, either to make us stronger so that we can escape, or simply because it's super demonic and it doesn't want us to evolve. It just wants us there forever to feed it and to feed the machine. How do we know that that's not actually part of the main quest? Because we exit it, and when you exit the matrix, or at least this one, you're the matrix being somewhat of an illusion, somewhat not completely the truth. And that's my point. At every stage, we're not going to be in absolute truth. Correct me if I'm wrong. As long as we're not, as long as we're perceiving existence through a specified lens, we are under some sort of an illusion. To change is to not be constant, and to not be constant is to be a half-truth, and to be a half-truth is not to be the ultimate truth, right? The all is unchanging. It is the substantial reality from which all change comes from. So let's say we leave this matrix, get back onto the quote-unquote real main quest. We're still in an illusion. We still haven't got rid of polarity, though we have rised above the scale. Now, I'm not sure if that information is useful at all. I'll link to the video, actually, that she posted. The whole thing from start to finish was loaded with. To recap, this for sure is a profane, or at least planet Earth seems to be a very profane take on all that is true and real. I mean, this reality seems to perverse everything. Sex has been perverted, has become inverted. Love has become perverted, inverted. Love is, we speak of unconditional love, but it does not exist 9 times out of 10, even with the most loving of lovers. It is unconditional. There's still envy, there's still jealousy, there's still extreme possession, and there's still the extreme recoil when we lose that love, right? There seems to be a perversion in this reality. I mean, think about it. We take medicines like tobacco, which has traditionally been used for thousands of years as a healing modality, and now it's been perverted. I see it with cannabis. It has now been perverted. Now that it was a healing plant that used to relieve stress, and now people can't even use it because it induces stress and it induces anxiety and panic attacks because it's been bred so strong, because it's been bred so intense. I'm seeing that with psychedelics now, with these things right here on my wall. I'm seeing it with that. I'm seeing it with all the other plant medicines, with it a way to to wear as a badge. How many times have you sat with Aya? Well, I've sat 18 times. Or how many times have you sat with this? Or I'm a shaman. Or we all want our accolades, and we all want our tokens. And it's another trap. But that's sort of what I'm saying. How do you get away from the trap ultimately, if not to be absorbed with the all, period? I guess what we can do is aim for the all and know that we will always be somewhat profane. And if you're talking about absolute source, right, absolute oneness, which is undefinable glory in a sense, even if you're half a degree off of absolute glory and bliss, you're still infinitely profane. You're still infinitely perverted. It's like, maybe, I don't know if I can even come up with an example off the top of my head. It's like, I don't know. It's perfection. If you're one step away from perfection, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard. It's kind of hard to wrap my head around. But in other words, what else do we do? What else can we do? But to exist, but to become sovereign entities, to have our own thoughts, and it helps us escape this matrix, at least in mind, if not in the physical, to practice extreme discernment, to practice spiritual autonomy, to somehow find ourselves in a space where we don't have to worship a deity outside of ourselves. The new age movement is like, yo, heavy criticisms on Christianity and what they call God, and then but they'll worship trees, or they'll worship Thoth, or they'll worship Gaia, or they'll worship anything. They'll pump their energy into anything in the physical realm other than themselves, and then to criticize someone who does it for themselves, who will pump that energy into themselves and say, instead of the external world, and say, well, you're placing yourself, you're calling yourself God, and which is its own trap. I'll admit it's its own trap. I think I was just reading the Kabbalah the other day, and it says the sages sort of laugh and chuckle to themselves when they hear someone jump up and exclaim that I am God, like I am God. And it's like, kind of, but not really. Again, Hamlet to Shakespeare, Gandalf to Tolkien. I don't know, it's a fascinating conversation. But I do know one thing is, regardless of what simulation we're in, low, middle, high, whether we escape the side quest and get onto the main quest, the route to source will always be discernment, will always be spiritual autonomy, will always be the ability for someone to make their own decisions, and be able to lean into themselves with absolute faith and trust. With the false light and this sort of matrix that we're in, I don't personally always see it as negative and positive, as like good versus evil. I think that good versus evil exist as a subset of the false realm, but I don't think it is the false realm. I just think that in every plane of existence there manifests polars. There, in every plane of existence, whether it's the third dimension or the 17th dimension, there exists a higher and a lower. How could it not? How could it not? How could the law apply to our dimension but no other dimension? It has to apply to all dimensions of time and space and everything else. The difference it manifests is in degree, but it still manifests. So I like to see our matrix as just another subset of existence, just another way that the all can experience infiniteness and all the ways that it can exist in. Like, oh, this one has angels and demons? That's interesting. Oh, look at that. Isn't that interesting? The angels are the polar opposites of demons. The demons, and also interesting enough, the demons are incapable of acting like angels, and the angels are incapable of acting like demons, almost by design, almost like it was on purpose, almost like there was a decision made somewhere, whether on the angels and demons parts or someone above them, where they said, you're going to be this and you're going to be that. And we're going to have a sort of like an overcompensation. But then you have humans who are everything in between. A human who can be an angel when they wake up in the morning and a demon when they go to sleep at night. And then all the variations in between. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like the gods and the goddesses and the sort of jargon or paraphernalia of a matrix is by design, but the souls, at least the human souls within it, are given free will. It's like angels don't have free will, demons don't have free will, and the angels and demons wreak havoc or grace on the matrix by design. It's almost like they're the NPCs, and the humans, to varying degree, have to become enlightened within that matrix. And then you pass and you go on to the next level, and then to the next level, and then to the next level. So that's where I'm sort of have the response to The Alchemist, in that it's almost presented like this is the bad place, but we got to get back on the right path. And I'm like, how do we know that that this isn't the right path, and they're all like this to varying degree? There's pockets of this matrix that are beautiful. And I'm sure if my soul were to move on from this matrix and see 10 others, that I would look back on Earth and be like, yeah, that shit was crazy, but damn, there were some beautiful moments in that. my child. Oh my God, like the happiness my child brought me, or playing those shows in front of thousands of people. Like, oh my God, that was amazing. Or visiting this jungle, or meeting this woman, and that time we spent together in this place. Like, fuck, that's just, oh my God. Like, yeah, Earth in its profane, perverted rawness is a wild place, but my God, it has some raw fucking beauty at the same time. And of course, maybe there's a matrix where I can find that beauty more often than not. You know what I mean? I'm not saying this is the best it's gonna get. I'm just saying, damn, there is beauty along the way. And what's the best way to see the container that you're in that will allow you to ascend faster, or not even ascend faster? I might not want to ascend at all. I might want to live in the earth for dozens of lifetimes more. But maybe the quality of existence is better. Maybe I'm on the higher end of the spectrum of the planet of turmoil instead of on the lower spectrum of it. More of a I'm still playing chess. I'm still playing the same game, but now I'm the player of the game instead of being a rook or a knight all the goddamn time, or I'm going to play the queen this entire lifetime. I'm everything and anything. I'm here and I'm not. I'm just operating at such a high frequency that no one can even see me sometimes. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we in a perverted version? Are we in a matrix? Can we ever escape the matrix altogether without being absorbed into the all of its own volition and not ours? Is that even possible? What do you think? What do you think? Anywho, shout out to the Alchemist, man. I just stumbled across your channel and I was trying to figure out why I hadn't sooner. Come to find out, she started that channel like a year ago and she's already popping off. So, well done, Alchemist. Well done. Thank you for such insightful videos. You're a breath of fresh air. Breath of fresh air, you really are. If you guys made it this far in the video, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment, let us know where you're coming from, join the conversation, and join the fun. What's up? Let's have a good time out here. There's one thing we're out here for, it's enjoying ourselves and merrymaking. Even if hell is at my goddamn doorstep, a knocking. Even if hell is like, yo, guess who's back? I'm out back with the homies, having a pint of ale and eating snacks by the fire, maybe playing some music. I'll say, hold on, hell, I'll be right there. Hold on.